Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching on Watch Your Watch. Today, we are covering The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 17, episode 3. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, and you can subscribe if you are new, and leave your comments below. Now, let's get into this week's episode. All right, y'all. So, if you can tell by my expression, I'll just save it for later on what I want to say. So we begin where we left off in last week's episode. That was supersized. I have no clue why it was supersized. I didn't even like that whole dramatic effect as far as just telling us what was really going on with K. Michelle. That was not K. Michelle's fault. It's just how production decided to edit that, or whatever. So we know that things are happening to K. Michelle's body after getting illegal silicone butt injections. She's about to get out of the hospital. However, she's got a scene to film with Roy, and she's got to get dressed and get glammed there. I think some people online were kind of like, "You just got out of the hospital and did this." I don't like that she had to do that, especially whatever was going on with her. That could have been something else, but I guess the work had to go on, you know. So she got herself together. Her husband took her to the scene of where they were going to be at, which is going to be at like this nail manicure pedicure place. Phaedra, Portia, Cynthia, and Kay are going to be there. She also let us know that she's got the BBL. She knows that the silicone will always be in her body. That is crazy. That is crazy. Like, medically, y'all can't. It's crazy. Anyways, she says that Portia and Phaedra have called. Someone sent a gift, which I don't know which one did. But we'll get to that scene in just a minute. Angela and Drew. Drew comes by Angela's home, and the security board is... Drew said, "Are these leftovers from Kelly's chicken and waffle thing?" No. But anyways, you know, Angela said, yeah, it's a little skimpy today. She called it an ACL security board. Her daughter is staying with them, which I was a little confused about that, because she's supposed to be going back to college to go live with her partner. I need more clarification because I'm just not clear as to what was going on. I don't get that. Drew, she talks about, you know, what her life is now all about, which is about music and acting. Acting is what pays the bills. Look, making music costs money. Streaming, you don't make any money unless you're streaming like millions and millions and millions. It's not great at this moment. So you do have to tour if you're going to recoup any money or get engagements and all of that. So acting is what is on the forefront at this point for her. She said it pays the bills, and she's just trying to balance a work and family. And she knows she's not up to par to what she wants it to be, and she's just trying to figure it out as a almost single mother. Angela talks about her real estate investments. You know, she had got all these homes last year. She knew that she was just going to have to let some of them go because it didn't really pan out the way that she wanted it. Angela says, you know, she lost $2 million of her own money. And after she discusses that, she asks Drew, okay, so what are you doing for Drew outside of just being a mommy and all of that? They talk about Black. She just says that that's her friend. Angela's in her confessional like, Drew, just say that y'all are dating. We know Drew can lie or omit things. For now, I'm just going to say that Black is the type of person that she's not going to outright say that this is my man while she's still in court battle with Ralph. That's all because, look, that's the most logical thing because he's using everything and anything against her. And although he's doing whatever he wants in that basement, and I don't think she even cares, but he will care if she's actually moving on with her life. So that's what I'm accounting for until something more comes out a little bit later. Okay, as I said, the K Michelle has traveled to this pedicure manicure place. It reminds me of this book that I'm reading from Scotty by Nature, and it's That's Why You're Lonely. So one of the characters, they own this manicure pedicure place, and that's the hangout for all the girls to go to all the time. It was kind of reminding me of that. But anyways, it's a good book. I still haven't gotten through it. I got to get back to it. I think I'm about halfway through. So K Michelle, she's explaining what happened to her as far as why she was in the hospital, because some of them were unclear as to what happened. So she discussed in details what was happening to her before she put a label on it. And she said there was a bunch of fluid that was coming up out of her. She didn't even say blood. And Portia said, "Oh my God, a miscarriage?" And Kay said, "No." We're finding out that Kay was really offended by her saying that. Like, why would you say that? Especially like that. And Kay was like, "Well, I've discussed in detail to you, but privately, as to what was actually going on with me. And the wound that she has broke open. And the wound has been there for 8 months. And all of a sudden, it just broke open, and all this stuff with infection, it just came out." We're finding out that Portia shared with K Michelle that her new breast job wasn't that good. She called it something, but I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, she's having problems with this new breast job that she got. So you knew what was going on. And now you're going to bring up this miscarriage thing. Later on in the episode, Kay was like, "I even told her that I want to have another baby, but I am having some what is the word? She's having some infertile issues." Let's just put it like that. They talk about the grand opening because a couple of the ladies weren't there. Portia wasn't there. She just says what she has heard, what Kelly was doing, and when I called in, and how Kelly was to her. And she was given a lame read. I don't know if that was a lame read, but whatever. But Cynthia said, "Do you think that there's any truth? And that's why she'd be acting the way?" I mean, why? I get what you're saying, Cynthia, but why does someone have to accept someone lying on them? Because Portia came to her saying, for a fact, and I'm the receipt, that I know that you did this. Kelly can react any way that she wants to. Now that whole hug thing, that was dumb of you, Kelly, when you know that you weren't really over it. But anyways, K Michelle said, "Look, I don't know what's going on with her hot pocket." And Cynthia was like, "Well, what is her hot pocket? What's a hot pocket?" And they were like, "You don't know what a hot pocket is?" No. She finally gets it. She don't even say, "Oh." Interesting. But whatever. We move on to Shamia and Gerald. We finally see him. Of course, she's talking about this rum company, and Gerald's not really for it. She says Gerald wants her to do something, or at least supports her in wanting to do her own thing. But this rum company thing, nah. Then she's gonna say Gerald's opening other businesses, and what are those? She never said. So it's like, okay, why'd you mention it? Like, as they're walking, I think Shia was about to go off to school. I think she's in 1st grade, she said. And she was like, "Well, I'm excited about this company or whatnot because hopefully this will retire us." Now, look, we know why you married him. Let's move on. Maybe I should continue because Shamia's got another scene. Pinky goes visits with an attorney, and she needs to file bankruptcy. And when she got into the office, she wanted to close the door so nobody knows what's going on. She's embarrassed by it. And it's just hard because of her status within the country and how she's this prominent black businesswoman owner. And now it's going to be out there, and she feels ashamed, but the only way that she's going to be able to make her business rise again is if she starts all over. She said, like, the former CFO took money, and they're $20 million in debt. Outside of when she bought her company back, I think that was like 40-something days or 30-something days. she started getting all these lawsuits of just not being in compliance of doing certain things, like not getting permission to play a certain fight, a liquor license. I was like, okay. The attorney asks, where is Derek in all this? She has not told him. And basically she's like, I don't want to involve him in this because he's got his own thing going on. I'm sorry, that is super important. And that's what married people do. You lean on each other, for better or for worse. That was one of your vows. Remember that? So it's quite interesting at how they actually deal with stuff. But I'm gonna talk about them in another scene. So K. Michelle, Cynthia, and Pinky, they meet up. We find out, I think we already heard about this in the first episode, that Pinky and K. Michelle are sorority sisters. They're deltas. They start talking. Cynthia starts bringing up that there's a lot of tweets out there about her just going off and calling someone a bimbo. So they have this interlude of toxic tweet show or something in regards to what K. Michelle was saying. If y'all remember when the show was filming and we were getting all these cryptic tweets and we're trying to put a face to a description of what Kay was trying to say and all that, we know some of it's for Drew, but at least in this group, what we're talking about right now, it's Portia. She really felt a way about Portia. She was being a dingbat. She really didn't understand where Portia was coming from during the manicure, pedicure time that they had. She had to sit home and realize, I was just Kelly. Like, basically, like, you just try to play me and try to put something on me like I got a miscarriage or something. But anyways, K. Michelle is asking Cynthia, like, so what's with Phaedra? And all she does is just giggle. Not a new cast member knowing how lazy this woman is that y'all desperately wanted her back. Now, what I do find so surprising on the internet, y'all, it seems like y'all get notifications anytime we start talking about Phaedra and Portia. But today, y'all didn't have no smoke. But y'all do a little bit, but it's just like it's used as something that happens at the end of the episode. But it's just not, oh, Kay trying to use her for a storyline. Oh, she thirsty. Oh. I take note of stuff. Let me see. Pinky said that Phaedra said that she eats meat. And she's trying to figure out why Phaedra would say that. I'm on the PETA board and all that stuff and all that. I think we're going to get more into that in the next episode. So I'll just leave it there. K. Michelle said, you can't trust no lawyer who doesn't practice. Okay. Pinky said that she eats dead people. Meaning, I guess some of the bodies at the morgue she eats. They said they don't know, but they were just hearing a rumor about that. Okay. And Pinky was kind of more vulnerable as to what she's really looking for out of these group of women, and she wants to be around women that you're going to build with. And she was just saying, you know, I'm tired of being the strong friend. You know, I need someone to also pour into me. I remember that statement was in the trailer, and we were like, not the strong friend part, but as far as building and all that stuff, it's about itchiness, cattiness, lies, rumors, and all that stuff. So Pinky, there will be some sentimental times, but as in Quad, no, baby, no, because all of them are fighting to save their job and keep their peace. Cynthia, who felt like she was coming into this whole meeting as like a mother, she said, "Oh, y'all doing just fine. Y'all quite the firecrackers and all that." So yeah. Drew, she goes on a date, well, whatever you want to call it, with Black. You know, what I got from that scene, because everybody's like, well, why don't Drew just say that you're dating? You know you're dating, da 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 da. Black asked what category he was in, and she said, you're a friend. Because he was like, friends with benefits, da 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 da. Black described her as someone that's not a girlfriend, but as a wife. I mean, she's technically still a wife. Anyways, so... And she comes from that Christian background, church background, so yeah. Okay. He said he has some gifts for the children, but he was like, I don't know how you want to handle it. You want to give it to them, da 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 da. and she just it was something sentimental to her, to just see that. You could see that there was some type of, she did say this, that her hair was, that she letting her hair down, but there was just like this exhale that was coming about and Drew out of the scene. Although we heard what K. Michelle said about what's going on in the DMs, I kind of just think that Black was sincere with her. I think that he wants more, and he knows right now that they can only be at the friend level. Angela did call him Telephone Man. Mr. Telephone Man! I'm like, all right. What's his name? Our New Edition dudes, yeah. But yeah, I don't know, that's what I got from the scene. I don't think that was fake. I really think that they do have a real, at least, connection. I'll say that much. Whatever's all going on, cool. Angela is with her daughter. She has this other house that she's going to try to flip. She was like, you chose this place? Why? Does your husband know about this? And yeah, we get a flashback scene of that. Angela doesn't feel like Charles really has faith in her with the real estate business. Now, Angela did say that she has a financial consulting business in Fanji. Now, I know real estate is a different beast. But Angela, you got a financial consulting business. I guess I'm just lost in what I'm trying to correlate, like what you do, as far as you were able to mess up $2 million. But I think the daughter is like really on her neck, like, are you doing this because you are trying to prove something? Angela did say that, you know, I've had a lot of losses, even for her mom, and she got teary-eyed in regards to that. And she said that I just want to win, you know, and that's why it's something to prove, I think, especially after losing so much. We move on to Shamia. Shamia is meeting with someone named Maximilian. Since really Gerald is out of it, he's like, I don't think that this is going to work. Shamia wants a rum called Rum Bum. She's going to make a butt mold out of her butt. Of course, this is going to be like, I guess, made or manufactured in Grenada, but Grenada does not grow peaches. So she's trying to put Atlantis stuff there. And she's like, I don't know how they're going to, she's trying to find ways to import at least peach flavoring or something in there. It's going to cost way too much money. And I think maybe that's why she's starting to see why Gerald was kind of just opposed to that and out of that. Because they said it's going to cost $30 for each bottle that you make. I said, oof, that's a lot. And who's going to buy that? And are you ready to sell to high-class people? Do high-class people drink rum? Shamia, I really think it's cool if you just be a housewife. I don't know what you're trying to prove on here. I don't know if you really want to be independent or not, but I just think that you're doing certain stuff for the show, in my opinion. Moving on, Peaky and Derek, they have a date, and they're discussing more about the relationship, and also Peaky is now bringing up stuff that's going on with her. You know, because of how things went after they met, she got pregnant 6 months into the relationship. They kind of like, then they got married. They're like now dating after marriage. You're like, oof. I just kind of feel how they were talking in that business, because Derek's like, well, Pinky is hesitant on sharing the business crap with him. And he's like, what can I do for you? Because I want to be a person that you lean on. And there's a defense there and a wall there where Pinky doesn't want to go with them. As I said in last week's episode, it just seems like they're possibly in competition with each other. They are restaurateurs, but it's weird. I feel like possibly the strongest part of them is the sex that they have, but that alone is not going to keep that connection, from what I see. That was it from the episode. It was a filler, and this is just episode 3. They at least had a story arc from episodes 1 through 5, and then things got weird last season. I'm not saying it's from because I miss Kenyon. I do miss her. But we got 8 peaches plus a friend. Why is it filler? Oh, no. K. Michelle confronted Peach Juice on what she said. Like, you're the bimbo I was talking about. Portia says she don't remember nothing as far as what K. Michelle has shared with her. She was just finding out then and there. Sometimes it feels like Portia plays dumb. She can be dumb, but also play dumb at the same time. She apologizes. Like, look, I don't want to be insensitive and all that, What I will give Portia, because I give her nothing, she don't apologize. She'll either display stupid and, I didn't realize I did that. Like, I will give her that. She did apologize. But I don't think that she respects everybody to that level of apologizing. And I think that she's just respecting K. Michelle. But in her confessional, she is mocking her country twang, which is very weird, especially in Georgia, especially when your best buddy of an alliance, Miss Parks, got a little Georgia twang to her voice. And you've been in Georgia forever and you're... Okay. Anyways, that was it. I guess this was an informal type of episode. But yeah, that's all I got. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Like, comment, subscribe. Until the next one. Peace.